disillusioned state, I was walking home one day. My dead-end life was all work and no play, when from the corner of my eye someone beckoned to me. He said, come play the ukulele, you see the new way. You'll be filled with love from the skies above. Ukuleles of love, raining from the skies above. Tiny bubbles filled the spaces in my head. I was happy, I was glad that I got out of bed. The music took control of me, I threw away my threads. If you want to join the party, just say yes.
Yes!
You'll be filled with love from the skies above. Ukuleles of love, raining from the skies above. Yes, that's right, you're here with Midnight Ukulele Disco. And wow, what a great show we've got for you today. What you just saw at the beginning then was the incredible Jake, as in Jake the Snake, Jake Shimabukuro from Hawaii. He was in the village with a show down at the Lion's Den, and I was very fortunate to catch him there. Actually, while he was in town, I managed to collar him for an interview. Went up to Central Park, and I have a little bit of footage of that. But I'm going to show you that now, but we've got much more coming up later in the show, so check it out.
You know, I always had a passion for the ukulele. I got into it because my mom played. So yeah, when I was oh gosh, I wasn't even in elementary school yet, but you know, I would always ask her to teach me, you know, and we'd sit on the living room floor and just kind of play, you know, old traditional Hawaiian songs. And yeah, it was great. I just loved it. You know, growing up, because my parents always loved music, you know, there was always these great jazz albums and these great, you know, bossa nova albums, classical pieces, always, you know, being heard over and over. And I would always try to figure out those melodies, you know, on my ukulele. And at the time, you know, no one ever told me that, oh, you know, that's a violin song, or that's a piano piece, you know, you can't play that on a ukulele. So I would always just try to fool around and find those melodies, find the harmonies to whatever I was playing. And it helped me to expand on my own style and forced me to kind of create my own techniques.
At a certain point, you plugged in the ukulele, and that must have been... Tell me about that.
Well, that just, you know, it opened up a whole new world for me, you know. You know, running it through different preamps, running it through different, you know, effect pedals, things like that, really totally changed my music expression, I guess, you know, in a sense. It, I don't know, it just brought about these new voices in my head, you know, and I heard different things. It also gave me a lot more toys to keep, you know, keep me occupied. It's so ironic because you only have 4 strings and basically 2 octaves to work with. It's a very simple instrument to play, but you know, with that same, you know, but under the same notion, it's also very difficult to play because you're only working with you know, such limited amount of tools, basically, you know. So, you know, as an artist, you have to be very creative and very very open-minded, I think, to really expanding on the instrument, you know. And I've always believed that, you know, the instrument, the instrument is not limited, you know. It's the person holding the instrument that sets the boundaries of what it can do. Here's a strum that it's kind of based on like a series of 3, kind of like a triplet thing, and basically you're going to use these 3 fingers here, right? So your what is this, middle and your ring finger and your thumb, and your middle and your ring fingers, they're going to act as one. So basically you're gonna strum down with those two fingers like this, and then follow through with your thumb, and then you're gonna come back up with your thumb again. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and you just relax the fingers like this. So when you do it fast, it looks. Fun strum to mess with. So when you're like playing, you know, you can switch from your regular strum.
What do you reckon about that strum there, Patsy?
In my dreams.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got Patsy Monteleone in the studio with us today. Nice surprise.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Was it quite a concert? We were down that concert.
We were down there
well.
together. Yeah, I met you down there, and that was a big surprise. I think Jake sort of booked it at the spur of the moment too, so there wasn't a whole lot of advance notice. I somehow found out. I think there was a posting on the website, on the flea market website.
Sometimes you have to keep your ear right to the ground.
Keep your eyes open, and it was a great show.
Now, what's this uke you've got with you? This is the uke I've seen you playing before. There's something special about it, right?
Yeah, so it's a very special uke to me, and I got it from it's a bell toner, resonator, brass resonator ukulele, and I bought it directly from the company in New Zealand. Steve Evans was a pleasure to deal with, and it's still one of my prides and joys. So I play it a lot, and.
It's got a beautiful finish.
Beautiful finish. You know, I can always take a look at it and make sure that I'm properly coiffed. It does have that attribute, but it's a wonderful sounding instrument.
It's great that you brought it along today, because I actually I was back in New Zealand for my brother's wedding. This was like 6 weeks ago now. And while I was there, I caught up with Steve. He lives in Whangarei there, up in the north of the North Island, and he welcomed me into his home and gave me a little show of how these resonator ukes are built. And I got some footage here I'd like to share with you.
I've always been a tinkerer, and made my first musical instrument was a dulcimer back in the early 70s when I was a schoolboy, and a bit of wooden guitars and violin, but really resonator instruments have taken up my work for the last 15 years or so. The idea of making a fiberglass one came from the Macaperi ukes, from seeing how they worked, and they're not great as a normal uke, but I could see that with a resonator they would work really well.
So, after a wee bit of experimentation, the family garage became Steve's ukulele production workshop.
The first step in the whole process is the making of plugs, which are solid wood versions of the shapes you want to make in fiberglass. Then over these things I built these moulds.
The moulds are then coated with fiberglass resin.
And in the end that bit comes out of the mould. When you're finished with that mould, what needs to happen to this piece now is for it to be actually cut down for its depth. So it goes into this little device. So this is for cutting the excess off this edge, top edge, and giving me the right depth of the body. You can see here all the extra fiberglasses all gets cut off with a nice flat edge. That's in preparation to have the top glued onto it. And that's two then go together like so when they're all cut into place. Glued in this mould with some bolt clamps that hold it together. And that's basically it until you come out with that.
The only wooden part of this ukulele is the headstock and the neck. Steve sends the fiberglass body out to be painted by an auto body painter. Then what's left is installing the resonator cone, this ukulele's speaker.
So here's the whole heart of the sound of the uke is a resonator cone, very thin aluminium spun into a conical shape. And this is a wooden biscuit spool that actually sits on top, holds the bridge and strings. Just a peg to locate it there. And the strings actually sit on top of this, and the sound is projected down like a speaker, and it goes up and down quite a bit. And it sits in a body which is basically a speaker cabinet. And cover plate over the top. People play them in bands and other groups that are heard, and one player even plays it along with a bluegrass band, and it can be heard over banjos and things. So, but they don't have an abrasive sound to make them be heard. They're just a very kind of carrying sound and very directional as well. The cone is quite directional, and the body, the fiberglass, really kind of shunts the sound out. So it's ideal material really for these kind of instruments. This is Pokarikariana. This is very much a New Zealand anthem. I got this from the playing of a Tongan player, Sione Aleki.
I can't resist your call. Blue, you get the big and the small. Rich man, beggar, or thief, somehow there's no relief. Oh, blue is bound to get us all. When you try so hard to smile and life doesn't seem worthwhile, then you can tell you're under the spell of the blues. When you try to sleep, it seems nightmares take the place of dreams, then you can tell you're under the spell of the blues. Some bad omen like a hoodoo hovering over my head. Not a jinx, not a voodoo, something much worse. Oh, it's a curse. Shadows chasing after me, blue skies while they laughed at me. Gee, but it's hell to be under the spell of the blues. All do bother the day. Oh, do 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 do, feel down to that Some bad omen, like a hoodoo, hovering over my head. Not a jinx, not a voodoo, something much worse. Oh, it's a curse. Shadows chasing after me, blue skies while they laughed at me. Gee, but it's hell to be under the spell of the blue. Oh, spell of the blue.
Patsy, it's always great having you here. That was lovely.
Oh, thank you.
What's the story behind that song? Who's
I couldn't tell you the composer. I picked it up from Bing Crosby, early 30s, Tin Pan Alley blues kind of thing. Not a true blues song, but something that emulated the blues. Tin Pan Alley was always happy to ride any trend that came along. So
sounds real sweet on that resonator uke as well.
Great resonator uke, and I love that bit about that interview with Steve Evans of Baltone Instruments.
Yeah, check it out. You can go to baltona.net to find some more information about Steve. And jakeshimabukuro.com. I'll spell it out for you here on the screen. That's how you get in touch with Jake. And of course, you can always catch us here at ukeleledisco.com. How can they get in touch with you, Patsy? Have you got some music up there on the web somewhere?
A couple of things. Well, you can see me here on Ukulele Disco. I have a few things posted. Jason's kindly posted a few of my pieces, and some stuff at easyfolk.com.
Oh, Easy Folk.
Few
Yeah.
songs there. Trying to think about calming my nerves a little bit and getting into a studio to cut a CD. One of these days, one of these years, centuries.
Well, we look forward to having you back on the show again.
Oh, it's always my pleasure.
Believe it or not, we're out of time, but I do have one thing I'd like to leave you with. This is a recording with Jake we made in Central Park along that interview, and I'll leave you with that, and we'll catch you all again 2 weeks' time for Midnight Ukulele Disco.
This is a song that was composed by one of my favorite songwriters, Mr. George Harrison. So, since we're in Central Park near the strawberry fields, I thought this would be kind of cool. But it's a song entitled While My Guitar Gently Weeps.